Well, you also in North Charleston in the Scott killing had the officials moving so quickly and
Very
so
quickly.
unequivocally.
Yeah, Mayor Summy really moved on that.
I mean, before the news media even caught up with the story, the officials had already acted, suspended, then arrested Slager. And I think that was a demonstration that people could have faith in their elected officials and in law enforcement. I don't see anything near that tension. I am delighted by that. As shocked as the crime was, when you get in the arc of history, this will be recorded as one of the most terrible racial murders in the 21st century, certainly. And yet and still, once they caught the perpetrator, who I understand has already confessed, I don't know what his plea will be this morning, but has already confessed. Once that happened, there was a sense that, oh my God, hug me, cry with me. Our city has been so wounded, but we're in this together. I was deeply impressed, I must say.
Yeah, we don't have to go through all of that waiting. I mean, 13 hours seemed plenty long enough before he was apprehended up in Shelby, North Carolina. What about the media? What feeling do you get? Like you said, you get this feeling of unity, this feeling of oneness down there outside of Mother Emanuel, this beautiful historic church downtown where everybody is coming together. You know,
Charlie, I love history. And the slave uprising of 1822 is something I've studied over the years. You mentioned my sailing. I sailed past Fort Sumter where, the Civil War began. I followed all of the controversies, over the Confederate flag and so forth. I know the community fairly well. I'm just a visitor. I don't pretend to have roots here, but I love the city. It is the setting, the physical setting is so in some ways jarring when you consider the history, but to see how the city has evolved and become a modern place, a place of with shifting demographics, a city that has gone forward together as a community. I am deeply, deeply impressed. It is not an accident that Charleston is thriving and that people are moving here, and that you have a better future than past, perhaps, and so many cities like Baltimore can't make that statement. Right.
We have great leaders, and we have great people following those great leaders in this community. What about some of the divisive remarks that we're getting? People like Chris Hayes, they're bringing up the Confederate flag. All of these other people are saying, you know what, this is a state that, how can you tell this family that you're supporting them when you're flying the flag? What about this rhetoric? The rhetoric that Todd Rutherford had last night with Bill O'Reilly, saying that this guy committed these crimes because of people like folks like the reporting on Fox News. What about stuff like that is so divisive, Geraldo? We have got funerals to attend. We've got memorial services to attend, and we don't need the media coming here raising those kinds of questions right now.
I believe that you are absolutely right. Where are we right now? We are in the immediate aftermath of a horrible crime committed by a delusional, egotistical person who I think is more like Charles Manson, who wanted to start a race war with Helter Skelter and commit a vicious crime that ignited, a racial discord in a violent way. That's what Manson wanted, and that's what this kid wanted. But they both failed. This kid even more utterly than Charles Manson did, and that is the triumph of Charleston. And I think Charlie, you're absolutely right. That is what we should be emphasizing right now, that Charleston has been wounded grievously by this act, and yet Charleston will go forward together. Now, as to the attack on Fox News by the local politician, saying that this man was probably motivated by what he hears on Fox News, I thought that was so intellectually sloppy, and like the comments about the Confederate flag, it is so easy to make a blanket charge like that without consideration for what exactly happens. Nobody knows what motivated this person. He certainly wasn't watching my program on Fox News. He wasn't watching O'Reilly. He wasn't, I don't know what he was watching. And to generalize about Fox News being one size fits all is the same way they generalize about the South or about Charleston. It is so, so easy to level a charge like that. It requires no intelligence. It requires no research. It requires really nothing other than the desire to lash out at someone that you probably don't like for other reasons.
Very lazy statement.
Totally.
Very lazy statement. Well, thank you for being on the program
Charlie,
today.
come on mine now.
I will do that. I will certainly do that. It's 8:51. Geraldo Rivera right here on the Big Talker, 1250 WTMA, WTMA.com.